Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified Doctor of Naturopathy, Dr. Stephen Cabral, shares with you exactly how you can reverse aging, take back your health, and live a life full of energy and passion, with new 20-minute episodes every single day to keep you healthy and engaged. Now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. We're here today with episode 2766 of the Cabral Concept. This is our weekend edition of the show. These are the Cabral HouseCalls, where we answer our community's questions each and every weekend. All things wellness-based, functional medicine, integrative health, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, longevity, you name it. And we're here to answer those questions. I always like to say that I can't provide you with medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, and medical diagnosis, but what we try to give is something even better, which is looking for that underlying root cause as to why you may be feeling the way that you do. And of course, what you can do about it. All right. So let's dive right into the first question. First question is coming from Cindy. Cindy says, I love Fatlossity PM for the best sleep, but I often get jittery with caffeine, so I only use the AM short term. I don't get the same effect with your sleep support supplement. Melatonin tends to awaken me after only a few hours. I do benefit from amino acid L-trypophine on occasion, since Fatlossity PM cannot be purchased separately. Do you have any suggestions for improving sleep, or which supplement is likely to help me? My sleep has improved over the last 6 years from learning from you, but I often still wake after 5 or 6 hours of sleep to go to the bathroom. I am post-menopasusal, but I do take estrogen replacement, which has helped. But once my brain starts thinking, sadly, sleep is over. Totally understand, Cindy, where you're coming from. So if you're not going to use the Fatlossity PM because you don't want to use the Fatlossity AM, totally get it. Some people might want to just do one of the Fatlossity AM and two of the PM, but I'm going to let you decide what works best for you. So if you're not going to use a melatonin-based product, although I would recommend, though, I would at least try, test out the liquid melatonin, because it's not going to give you that tendency towards grogginess, and it usually will. It just seems to last. It just seems to be like a nice steady boost. But again, that's up for you to decide and try. But two other products that are going to help to mimic a lot of what you may get from Fatlossity PM is actually the Adrenal Soothe. So it's going to have the phosphoserine, it's going to have the L-theanine, it's going to have a lot of those nice relaxing products. So people will typically take 2 of those at dinner, and they'll also take 2 to potentially even 3 of the full spectrum magnesium, or they'll do 1 or 2 of the full spectrum magnesium plus the natural calm magnesium, and they can do that, calming magnesium it's called, and you can do that even just an hour or so before bed. So hopefully that is helpful and that gets your sleep back on track. Again, the capsules can be taken with dinner. The natural, it's called, what is it called? The calming magnesium can be taken an hour or 2 after dinner. All right. So hopefully that's helpful. And then the liquid melatonin would just be taken 30 minutes before bed, placed under the tongue, and then swallowed after about a minute or 2. You can find these products at stephencabral.com/shop. All right. Anonymous is up next. Hello, Dr. Cabral. I'm 39-year-old male here. My issue is related to incomplete bowel movement. I've been experiencing this issue for at least 10 years, and I'm unsure of what to do about it. Basically, I have a normal bowel movement, but it sometimes feels like not everything came out. So when I use an anal douche, and every single time there is more poop coming out in the water. This happens with every single bowel movement. I'm a fitness guy with a healthy diet and lots of fiber. Thank you. Okay. So happy to help. Again, I don't know exactly what may be causing this because I don't know your whole health history. I don't know what your diet looks like, but one issue could be, too much meat or protein in the diet. Again, I'm not saying anything bad about it. I'm not saying that you necessarily have to stop. What I am saying is that it is possible that there's a little bit of constipation where you're not having a complete bowel movement. I work with a lot of bodybuilders, and sometimes with the large amount of protein intake and meat intake, a couple pounds a day of meat, they can be, it just doesn't work as well, even if you're taking fiber. All right. So the other part, let's just say the diet's perfect. You're getting in 35 plus grams of fiber a day. You're getting in 10 glasses of water. You're well hydrated, lots of fiber, balanced vegetables, all those good things. Fantastic. Okay. So besides that, we may want to look at a product called magnesium. I've talked about this before. I actually even just mentioned it a little bit for sleep, but magnesium also helps with what's called peristaltic movement, or Yeah, for the bowels, it's peristaltic movement. And so what happens is it just allows everything to move through the bowels nicely and essentially automatically, unconsciously, right? So the autonomic nervous system, we've got different parts of it, different branches of it, but basically this is an involuntary movement where your body's moving your fecal matter through your bowels to have a complete bowel movement. Now, do keep in mind that you're only eliminating a small portion of what is actually in the colon, right? So you're not emptying your bowels completely, you're emptying a portion of the descending colon. So if I bring up my body, Walter here, and you can see this is the small intestine, so we're not emptying that at all, if you're watching this on video, of course. And then this is the ascending colon, transverse colon, and then descending colon. So we're basically emptying the descending colon, which is going to lead to a full and what feels like a full and complete bowel movement. All right, so hopefully that's helpful. I would start there because we want to basically relax the bowels. And another product we use besides the calming magnesium or the full spectrum magnesium, and you're going to take that obviously to bowel tolerance, is something called alkalizing vitamin C. That can help get the bowels moving too. So you could do, which a lot of people do, alkalizing vitamin C with their daily fruit and vegetable blend in the morning upon waking. And don't do that with cold water because cold water can stop the peristaltic movement, but do it with warm water or room temp water. And then at night, you could do the calming magnesium basically an hour or so before bed. Hopefully that's helpful. All right, Joy is up next. Joy says, thanks for all you do, Dr. Brawle. Question number one of higher importance. I'm a 30-year-old female and would consider myself to be decently healthy and aware of my body. I, however, experience awful joint pain and weakness. It tends to hold me back from enjoying an active lifestyle. It's literally every joint from my neck to my ankles. My brother was born with a disease called osteogenesis imperfecta, but it has the more mild type 1. It affects the production of collagen. I don't think I have OI also. Curious, what would you recommend me do to help my joint pain? Question number two, okay, let's do question number one first. So question number one, what I would say is that we need to find out why you have so much inflammation in your body. Because if you have joint pain, you most likely, and it's in every joint in your body, there's systemic inflammation. So for me, I mean, I wouldn't even begin to guess. I mean, that would be, honestly, it would be irresponsible of me and unethical. Like I would have no idea. I could just start rattling off all the things that could cause inflammation, like omega-6s and heavy metals and parasites and gut. You could just go on and on. And it'd be again, irresponsible of me, in my opinion. So I don't want to do that. So what I would do is, if possible, I would run the Big 5 plus the stool test, because the stool test really looks for a lot of those things that you wouldn't find otherwise, which is the parasites, the H. pylori, and bacterial overgrowth. So that's what I would do. Run the Big 5 plus the stool test. It could be food sensitivities. It could be heavy metals. It could be low cortisol production. It could be low thyroid. I mean, it could be so many different things. So in my opinion, again, if you can, the Big 5 plus the stool test is exactly what I could do. Is exactly what I would do and recommend to all family members and people in my private practice. All right, so there you have it. All right. Next up, question number 2. I recently read of the earthing concept, which is supposed to have a range of health benefits. It involves the natural electricity of the earth. Here is a link to more info. I'm skeptic, but would like to know what you think. All right, well, the good news is I actually interviewed the founder of the website that you're talking about, of grounding, of earthing. Earthing is a real thing. You don't have to have a mat for it, but walking close to the ocean, walking on the morning dew on your own grass will actually give you the free benefit of earthing as well. Now, you can definitely use earthing mats, but you can get out there, especially early in the morning, and get those negative ions. Earthing is a real thing. It literally can be measured with negative ions. And so it's a real thing for sure. And I would try to take advantage of it. And even again, just going outside, if you have a little patch of grass in your backyard, especially first thing in the morning, walk out there without shoes on. It's fantastic. And again, getting close to the ocean, most bodies of water, but definitely the ocean near the sand is very, very helpful. All right. Good questions. Jade's up next. Hey there, I've been invested in my health for some time now, and I've been doing my best to encourage people around me to be healthier versions of themselves. However, I have one aunt in her late 50s whose diet isn't necessarily the best. She drinks Diet Coke most every day, eats out, doesn't exercise, also has an extremely stressful job. Difficult to encourage her to change her eating habits, but she was diagnosed with carpal tunnel. I told her I would do my best to get information on small changes she can make to better her condition overall life. Is there anything she can do to take that may not be as drastic? I would recommend your detox and less processed foods and drinks, of course, but that's too extreme for her. Yeah, I get it. Totally understand. Many people, in my life and many people I know who don't want to make that step. And it's difficult because it's not your job to make them change, right? They have to want the change. But I do like that you're presenting them with options. 2 things I would do, and only 2 things that I would do. I've seen it be the most successful because you still need to get them to feel results. So the first is I would give them a copy of The Rain Barrel Effect. It's literally free at my website, stephencabral.com. You just pay for shipping. I pay for the book to be printed. Every book, I pay a little over $7 to print the book, just being honest with you. Probably, $7, it's close to $8, but that's what I pay. And then it costs about the same to ship it out. So you can pay for that full price, basically on Amazon, or you can pay just to have it shipped in the US at stephencabral.com. All right. So because information is power. So people are like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I know I should be doing this. You can't unlearn things once you learn them. So you can try to ignore them, but you know what you have to do. Okay, so the second thing would then just be doing a smoothie every morning. That's it, just for breakfast. I have one right here. This is my afternoon one I'm drinking right now. Again, if you're watching this on video, this is a Purple Crush smoothie. And that's it. It's literally just one thing that they can do where they'll feel a difference. They put in 2 scoops of daily nutritional support. You can make it, this can be a beginner one. So a beginner delicious smoothie, which I don't typically talk about, but just chocolate daily nutritional support. All right. So, and it doesn't have to be daily nutritional support, but there's very few products that are an all-in-one that give you all your vitamins, minerals, and everything that you need for the day in one, right? So chocolate daily nutritional support. Put in a frozen banana, put in a scoop of peanut butter or their almond butter if you want to get a little bit healthier or something like that, and then put in some ice and blend it up with water. It's going to taste delicious. I mean, it's basically chocolate peanut butter banana. It's pretty fantastic. And so most people will enjoy that. And so it'll get them at least a healthier way to start their day. And then maybe they can work up to the berries like I'm doing right here, the wild blueberries, half a frozen banana, and then, put in whatever else that they like. And then of course, add in that daily nutritional support. That's what we do in our practice. It gets us better results than literally anything else, because how do you get, 12 to 15 nutritional supplements in someone's body if they're adverse to change? Well, it's just the daily nutritional support. So you can find that at stephencabral.com/shop. All right. Let's see. Let's get in one more question from Erica. And Erica says, hi, Dr. Ball. I wanted to ask your thoughts on what could be the root cause of my symptoms. I've had dizziness for about 3 to 4 years now, and it's very consistent every day. However, it hasn't gotten worse. It's stayed very consistent over time. It seems to be worse around the time of my period and also when under stress. In addition, I have a lot of popping in both my ears, and sometimes my ears feel itchy and almost like my eustachian tubes have to release pressure. I went to the ear, nose, and throat doctor who said I might have eustachian tube dysfunction, but ruled out, which is so silly, by the way, ruled out any fluid in my ears or any other issues. I also tried the maneuver for crystals in my ears, which didn't seem to have any other effect either. Any thoughts on what could be going on? Dizziness got worse when I took antibiotics 3 to 4 years ago. Thank you. Okay. That last line is very helpful. So again, I always joke around. I make fun of the conventional medicine industry, not the doctors, but the industry, right? It's basically a big industry. Eustachian tube dysfunction. It's like saying, okay, you have ear dysfunction, or you have hearing dysfunction if you can't hear. You have irritable bowel syndrome if your bowels are irritable. It doesn't tell you anything. It's not helpful. It's very, very, very harmful, I think, because they try to give you a diagnosis, which means absolutely nothing, like literally nothing, and they just give it to you anyway. Okay, so let's give you some help, though. My recommendation is to everybody who has their question is to go to stephencabral.com/podcasts, because if you type in dizziness or you type in vertigo, you'll get so many different shows with a lot of different answers. And then, just because you wrote in a few months back, and I just don't want you to have to wait, as much time, that's all. So you've tried a bunch of the different maneuvers to maneuver those crystals, which is great. Look into food sensitivities. That was a big one for me. Believe it or not, I ended up being sensitive to a specific type of coconut milk, and it gave me dizziness. It was crazy. I mean, who would have thought? But anyway, it was a truth. It did happen. Took it out. Dizziness went away. Put it back in. Dizziness came back. And I said, all right, well, I guess we can't do this, right? But it took me like 2 weeks to figure out, because I never in my wildest dreams thought it would be coconut milk, but lo and behold, sometimes it is. Okay. But with you, again, I can't give you any medical diagnosis, but if you took antibiotics and that's when things got worse and you have itchiness in your ears, it very well could be a fungal-based issue. That would not be uncommon in any way, shape, or form. And so although there are drops that you can certainly put in your ears, I've recommended the nootrobiotic ear drops before to put that in, or even a little bit of hydrogen peroxide, or what else I've recommended? Garlic oil. I've got so many different ones for earaches there that you could use to help try to kill it locally. But in my opinion, I would run at the minimum, I would run the Candida metabolic and vitamins test to see if you do have a fungal-based overgrowth internally in the gut, which could be, again, systemic too from taking the antibiotics. Because remember, broad-spectrum antibiotics can cause an imbalance in fungus over the entire body because it kills a lot of the bacteria. And when it kills the bacteria from the antibiotics, it leaves space for the fungal or the candida to begin to overgrow. So at the least I would run as the Candida metabolic and vitamins test. And then, if you have other issues like bloating or gas or digestion issues, I would run the bacteria. Well, I would run the big three, which is the gut test, which is the food sensitivity, the bacterium parasite stool test, and the Candida metabolic and vitamins test. And the big three can be found at stevencabral.com/shop. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into today's show. I will be back tomorrow answering more of our community's questions. Take care. I want to sincerely thank you for your support of this podcast. I couldn't do it without you, and I mean that. I truly do. I also want to make sure you knew that we now have multiple ways for you to find your answers to the most difficult health, wellness, weight loss, and anti-aging questions. You can find podcast-specific topics like thyroid, adrenal, hormones, sleep, digestion, Ayurveda, and many more at stevencabral.com/podcasts that will then link you to your favorite Apple, Spotify, and other podcast players. Plus, all new podcasts and weekly exclusive video content is being added to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Stephen Cabral. And that's Stephen with a PH. Head on over and subscribe so that you don't miss any of the exclusive content. Lastly, if you've ever found any of my podcasts or books to be helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a review on iTunes or your favorite media player for the podcast. Rating and subscribing to the YouTube and podcast allow me to reach more and more people and help spread my mission of healing throughout the world. Thank you again for being a part of this movement.